All right, so let's make another video. Let's say, for example, like you want to have this armature to follow on that point. Like you want to have this thing to rotate on that axis, right? Or on this point. But you don't want it in the center, because if I were to rotate this bone, right? And I go into pose mode and rotate this on the x-axis, this doesn't feel right as when you want to rotate, because you want to rotate on that point. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new one from scratch, again, a custom controller with this mesh. So same thing, we go into edit mode of this model, select the edges, shift D to duplicate, P to create a selection so that it's away, and then we're going to quickly rename this to shape, which will become shape.007. I can quickly move that to the shapes so that it's there, and then I'm going to create a armature because I've added to this selection of that cursor I wanted to appear. I have this armature now in this direction. So let's go ahead and actually get that shape that we want, which is shape.007. Right? But as you can see, it's not following correctly. So if we had to go and select the shape, and then we go to change the origin to that 3D cursor. So origin to 3D cursor, and as you can see, it now snaps correctly of that model, but it's still not following the same rotation. Now we do the same thing. Go control dot of the control dot full stop, rotate this on the x-axis 90 degrees again. All right. Now we actually got that. Now we can actually go and select the armature. I'm just going to make it thick just to show you, which means I can now actually have the bone now going up and down, and then rotate this on the x-axis exactly to the way I want it. But let's say now I'm like, it's like, nah, you know what? I don't want the bone to go directly up, right? What if you want to have the bone to go in a different axis? Like, for example, if I put this onto the x, rotate on the x like this, for example. But before we actually do anything, obviously you can't see this little dialog since it's blocking or it's not in the view. You should see a rotate dialog appear. So I'm going to set the rotate dialog to -25 degrees, and you're going to copy that because we're going to reuse that in a moment. So if I go out of edit mode, and you can see now, you're like, oh shit, this custom shape is now rotated downwards but not following the rotation of this mesh. We go back to the edge or the shape that we've made, go into control plus full stop to get these axes up again, rotate on the X and just click enter to have that dialog appear. Type in your value that you saved, which is obviously -25 degrees, and then you can see now as soon as I enter that, that is now back in. And if I select now the armature, if I click on G and Y, you can see now it's going in that direction, and I can still rotate this on the X-axis, making it super convenient to have different places and different rotations of your bone. Yeah, you're welcome to give me a comment if you need any more questions or any issues that arises.